Good afternoon. It's me, J Africa's Last Dance, Jeff Africa here. The channel where we're demagnetizing that mind, magnetizing the heart, and that consciousness falls down into that heart area, opens that heart area, and begins to live life from that heart area. Okay, that's what we're doing here, okay? And I'm midway through the process. It's an ongoing experiment, discovery, and I'm discovering it with you, with all of you. Let me see right now. I center myself in my heart these days. Right here, right now. From my crystal home, from my crystal temple, I speak these words. There you go. See, trying to calm it down, slow it down, and talk in a heart-centered, heartfelt way, okay? Okay, here we go. There will be no work done here today. No effort needed or discipline required. For as I fall back into these exercises and relax, staying in each breath, staying in each moment, each and every movement in love and in joy, ever the sharp eye to slow everything down, creating inner space, so the universe can come to me, work through me, doing these exercises for me and for the larger community. No, there will be no work done here today. There'll be no discipline required or effort needed here today. See, that's what I do. What we must do is we must enjoy every step of this process. A lot of people are, sitting around waiting to get to the fifth dimension, really, or waiting, I can't wait till I get to where I want to go. Even me, to this open heart-centered, personal, eternal now moment that I've experienced before. But we must learn how to enjoy every step, every moment of each step. Okay, because that's part of the process. In a way, if we can enjoy the steps we take every day to get to where we want to go, we're already there. In a way, do you see how important that is? So that's what I've been learning. That's what I did today. I went up to the hills today and did that thing that I told you that I do, this breathing, pranayamic breathing and meditation up there, a couple hours. It takes me over 2 hours. And the air is getting it's fresh up there, getting very fresh up there. It rained last week. I went last week, but I didn't go in there because it was sweat and muddy, and I gave it a week, and I came back. And so the air's nice and fresh. I'm putting a divine filter over the area that you can invoke and call in, and to filter out if the air is sort of dirty. I don't really breathe if the air is really dirty. I don't feel comfortable with it. But now I'm learning how to invoke a divine filter, air filter, essentially around me, 6 feet around. To clear that air up, so when I'm breathing in nice, fresh, clear air. Something to really consider. And it just is a wonderful process. And as I say these words I've just said over that movement, I'm doing it with no sense of effort. I meditate for about 35 minutes, and then I start into the breathing. And then I meditate for another 30 minutes after I'm done. And generally, I'll take my clothes off and lay on Mother Earth at that point and just talk to her. I didn't do that because a chopper came. A big old stinking chopper, a CAL FIRE chopper came and was circling around and doing all this stuff, and it kind of blew that, being able to do that. But it's just a wonderful thing. And when you get down out of the hills, because you're breathing in all of that wonderful nature's vibration, not only, and the prana, and not only the air, but all those other things. And you're a slightly different person coming down out of that hill. And I go down into Los Gatos, get some coffee, sit and relax, watch the people. And let me tell you something. It's life's good with that going down. It really is. So that's what part of my message today is. We must learn to enjoy each step. And the way we do that is with this mantra I'm telling you. Get it down, memorize it, and use it. because you can begin, what I'm beginning to feel when I do the things I do, the pleasure of the universe, the pleasure of Divine Mother, Divine Father, and all my spirit guides and everybody around me and the angels, their pleasure in me taking each step forward in this process. And when you start to feel the pleasure of the divine, you know, it is really enhancing your efforts, if you want to call it efforts, which I'm saying I hesitate to call it an effort, seriously. So be thinking about that. We must enjoy. That's when you know you're really making it, when you start to enjoy every step, when you get to do these things. I get to go up the hills today, and I get to do my breathing. I get to. I don't have to. I have to. It's I get to. You got it? That's what we're looking for. That's 5D energy. I get to, not I have to, okay? We must continue to retrieve fragments of lost soul and self. We must learn how to uncover within us all sorts of repressions and all the imperfections that we didn't want to admit that we have, because we were peaked individuals. We were weak individuals. We don't want to admit there are imperfections, and we wish they weren't there because we think they're bad news, but they're not. As we shift our consciousness into a love-based, heart-centered consciousness, we can look at our imperfections and say, okay, fine. You know, I have this imperfection. And to love yourself anyway, and to love the imperfection itself. And when I fell off the wall like Humpty Dumpty and shattered into a million different pieces, like I told you I did early on in life, and my life has been one of putting back those pieces together. I'm calling back all these fragments that split from me at that point of fracturing and schisming and exploding into a million different pieces. As I go along, I'm calling them all back. That's possible. They come back to you and they begin to reincorporate, including your imperfections and all the repressions and all the things that you've been through that you repressed and you didn't incorporate and handle correctly, and you begin to reposition them in your sense of unity, rather than them being in fragmented parts away from you. And they become part of you, building this unified sense of yourself as you reintegrate these things that you have lost and have for one reason or the other. And that's what's happening to me. And I recommend you carefully listen to what I've just said and get that done for yourself, okay? Because that's what part of this process, and love every minute of it, okay? And like I say, I'm at the upper end of all this stuff. When you get there, it gets to be, it gets to snowball. It starts to snowball. I figure the next 5 years, I'm going to make, if not in the next few months, seriously, I'm going to make tremendous progress because it starts to snowball. And you start to feel the result, and you say, wow, I want more of this, okay? And you begin to attack it now. You see, you're not just doing it to lift yourself out of the pit you fell into, what I fell into, and it becomes quite something at that point. Okay, now, coming to the Earth right now, and exploding from the Earth, Mother Earth herself, are divine feminine energies. For the next couple of years, the divine feminine is going to take center stage, and it's going to. This has been a masculine yang energy culture in the Western world for many, many centuries. Okay, well, the divine feminine now is coming, and it's going to be equal in power. Actually, and it's more interesting in certain ways, and it's going to take itself right alongside of the divine, or the masculine energies, the divine feminine energies. And it's going to be great when that happens. Divine feminine energies, what are they really all about? Receptivity. Okay, they're quite receptive energies. They're subtle energies. They're more powerful subtleties of divine feminine energies. They're the energies of not so much action. Yang is always action, always doing, which is the West does. But it's more the contemplative, subtler, non-action energies that are powerful in their subtleties. The softness, the gentleness of the divine yin feminine energies that are largely absent in this coarse masculine yang driven energies we have that's been around here for solely for too long. They are supportive. They're in unconditional love. That's where unconditional love comes from. To a large extent, they're supportive love energies. They're wholehearted acceptance of yourself and others in a very quiet, very powerful way. They're non-competitive in nature, okay? That's just the competition really, they don't really compete for things. These types of things are what the yin, powerful yin, divine feminine energies are going to explode here in the next couple of years. I predict in 2028 we will have a female president because of these divine feminine energies. But it's going to be the right female president, not the wrong one, okay? So I look forward to that and I hope that we do have our first female president. I want it to be the right female president, though. Now, let us compare then this new explosion of divine feminine entities with essentially the intellectually driven feminist movement that is, that I don't know, that's intellectually driven, and it's a good and bad news here. They find that it came up, yes, in the 60s it was time for women to start thinking of different roles they can play rather than the home and just staying in the home like they did in the 50s and 40s, and their role, in subjugation in a certain way and relegated to that prisoner in a way, the way we thought of it then. But they think in terms of doing this. They think in terms of competing with men. They think in terms of becoming men. Women in sports, competition. They think the progress in our women and femininity, they think in Western 3D matrix terms of doing this. Of what our 3D matrix and social illusion complex values, which is being potent in the field of action, being equal to men in sports, being footing your boots up some poor guy's ass, to competing on various courts and fields in competition, just as men do. A lot of the feminists, which are crazy, half crazy, but they don't think there should be any separation of men and women in sports, because they think they're calling the superiority of physicality that men have. Let's face it, let's be honest, they do. It's no big deal, but they do. And they're calling that an illusion, because they think it reflects badly on the women, so they're insisting that there's no real need to separate men and women in sports, because women are every bit as blah blah blah, and it's a myth that men are more physically capable. That's how nutty these beautiful women are. We could say broads, but we're not going to say that. We're going to say beautiful women. That's how they think. So they're trying to cram the divine. They don't really think in divine terms. They think in practical, materialistic terms. They don't think in spiritual terms. And they are thinking in what the 3D matrix tells them to think is the fields of activity and the progress women can make, corporate killers, or in all these spheres that women are finding out, as they go along, that being in a corporate world isn't all that it's cracked up to be. It's a lousy world to be in, and agree, and still think we get women in corporate activities, right? But we're going to change all that once this whole thing comes crashing down, and it is going to come crashing down. To a new form of activity, not corporate-driven activities and mentalities. They all have to go. They are low vibe, so they think getting women into these type of atmospheres is the thing, and I don't see it that way. I don't think women are being all they can be and being in a corporation, but I'm saying that that the corporate boardroom is going to be a better place with women in it, and women especially that are connected to the divine feminine selves, which oftentimes these days isn't the case, but it will be coming up here. So do these intellectual feminists understand really what the divine feminine energies that are about to explode? Do they really know what that means? And the answer is most likely not. They don't think in those terms. So we're going to have a clash coming up. And if anybody wants to write a timely best-selling book right now, it's starting to heal or to understand what the mistakes that the intellectually driven feminist movement is making by not incorporating some of these divine feminine energies that are coming, that are the epitome of yin-based divine feminist attributes. Okay, like I say, they don't know about stuff like that. So any of you females out there, if you want to write a bestseller, because from what I can tell and measure, women aren't happy. They don't know why, and they're trying to fulfill what the intellectual feminists are telling them they must be now, but they're not really happy solely doing that, and they don't know why. If anybody wants to write a best-selling book, that's the subject right there. The coming clash between what the explosion of divine feminine energies is going to be, and the idea of feminist movement, intellectual feminist movement, that has it cramming that into this 3D social illusion complex matrix that is champions essentially yang activity, doingness, proving yourself in the field of battle, that whole thing, which is incomprehensible to a true divine feminine energy. And I'm not saying that you don't do those things, but all I'm saying is you do them in a new way. So that's the best-selling book right there. And I'm trying to talk to some I know some of the earmarkings of this divine feminine progress on YouTube. Okay, Asia Suler, Colette Barnes Whiteman, Avian Mary Doyles. They all have sites. Katie Horton. They all are feminine. You can see the feminine power coming through these, and these are the pioneers, the ones I've just mentioned. And check their channels out. They are the beginning of this influx of divine feminine, and their energies are markedly different than masculine energies, and it's really quite something. I'm so pleased to see these young ladies coming up and doing the beginning of what this explosion of divine feminine yin energies is going to be about. Okay, so it's going to be quite something, and that book there that's written that is going to put together the incoming new energies that are divine in nature, and the street-driven intellectual energies that feminine ideas that aren't really including those real, truly deep femininity. It has to be. The word is consolidated. It has to be managed to put together, and women are going to be happier when that gets done. So that's the book to write. I'm telling you, I'm trying to get Asia Suler to understand that, but I can't. But it's not working so well, really. But others, I'll try it too. But that's the book to write right there. The relative mistakes this feminine movement is making as these new divine feminine energies begin to flood the planet. Okay, that's the book to write there, and it's going to be an exciting process. And I'm going to keep talking to some of these women about it to try to get them to do that. I could do it, but I don't think they're going to take too kindly a male coming to have to tell the feminist movement, they've gone wrong. You know what I mean? The male, a male having to correct, it's not going to go down well. Funny joke, really, there in somewhere, a really funny joke, But that's it. So the feminists are coming, and it's going to be a much better form of feminism than the one that we have going now, that is creating friction and is hostile in nature and man-hating, and it's just is incorrect in certain ways, and we're going to correct it. Okay, we are. I can feel it, So I wanted to make sure everybody understood that is divine feminine energies are on their way, and it's going to be an explosion, and it's going to be wonderful for the planet. Mother Earth is the divine feminine energy, divine mother. I excel with divine feminine influences more than masculine, really. I have a good, actually, I'm ahead of the game as far as I can tell. I have a good identification with my divine feminine self. That's another thing I have to talk about, is that men can benefit from this too, because men have a divine feminine self within them. It's suppressed, but that's one thing we have to learn to do, and we can help. We can be helped by this feminine energies coming in by learning and allowing to incorporate and let those energies awaken our divine feminine side, unify our divine masculine and divine feminine energies inside for a much more satisfying personal moment. Because it'll be all these wonderful qualities that I've just listed that we can capitalize onto and have a much more satisfying personal moment where every moment in life is more complete and full because we have more of ourselves there, including our divine feminine side. And I'm uniquely suited for this, and I'm going to be one of the first to, as well as getting to the heart, opening that heart, living both our divine feminine and divine masculine selves intact. I'm going to be one of the first to get that done. I'm very well suited and situated and positioned for that. J. Africa's Last Dance. I am a citizen of Earth, a loyal patriot of the United States of America, and I stand unafraid. And these four, Yogananda, Jeshua Ben Joseph, Mother Earth, Divine Mother. I've chosen these four to get me to where I want me to go and where I want you to go too. All out of our heads, into our hearts, and beginning to live that heart-centered reality, and becoming all these all the words that we bounce around our head. We actually begin to start living compassion and empathy and stillness and love and humility and tenderness and gentleness and respect. We live these things. They're living realities states that we live now. We don't just think about or talk about or have them bouncing around our head in a meaningless fashion. That is it. That's what we're after. And God bless the whole process. And we've got some exciting times, although we've got some difficult times coming up here. Like I say, it's going to come crashing down. You can count on that. And I'm glad. But it's not going to be easy in certain respects. Love you all. Thanks for listening. And next time. Bye.